Happy Sunday and welcome everyone to episode 47 of Video Game Club. As always, I am your host Tyler, and I have with me today the time stopper himself, Austin.
Hello.
Hello, and back again, someone who probably thought the cats were super cute, Mox.
I did!
How's everyone doing?
Excellent.
Oh,
Good.
Good. It's starting to warm up, at least here in the old North America. I know it's been a bit warm for you already, Austin, but we're starting to get some warmth here.
Been cranking the AC.
What have you guys been playing besides Touhou Luna Nights? Let's start with you, Mox.
Rune Factory 4. What else? They have so much like post-game content and
True.
The Sharents or whatever maze, and you can still make plants. I'm trying to make golden plants now. And I have a whole page on my little iPad that I keep notes on to make sure I know which plants I have at level 10. I just can't get enough of it. And then I downloaded the demo for Triangle
Strategy?
Yes, I couldn't remember the end part. And I'm
Mhm.
going to try that, and it looks very good. I'm going to see how that goes.
I went on like a little vacation in the woods recently, and I downloaded that demo because I heard it was kind of long. Like the Octopath Traveler, I don't know if you remember, but the demo was pretty lengthy for that too. I downloaded that, I went in the woods, and that is all I played. Only the demo the whole time. I think I spent, 4 hours or something.
Oh, wow.
Something crazy. And
I think you told me 6 hours.
6? That's probably
Yeah.
right. Yeah, but either way, it was really good, and I really liked it. But then at the end, I was like, well, I have too much to play,
Oh,
and then
my
I just
goodness.
yeah.
You didn't buy the game?
No,
Oh,
but
my
I will at
goodness.
some point. I will. I really liked Octopath Traveler a lot, especially the music. It's very, very, very good. Austin, what have you been playing besides Touhou Luna Nights?
So I've been working on Tunic, which you gifted me. Thank you very much.
Oh.
I apparently missed the shield, which has been making my playthrough a lot tougher than it needs to be, but I've been progressing anyway. So I need to go back and find the shield. I started and finished Katana Zero, which was really fun. The Factor in our Discord recommended that, and yeah, it was great. And I started this morning on Everhood, which is also very fun.
I've heard of that. Was
I
that
haven't.
in a bundle at some point or something?
Yeah, it was. I had it on my wish list for quite some time before that, so yeah.
Nice. I picked up Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. Austin messaged me that it was on sale at Best Buy physical edition. It was like what, $30?
Yeah, it was half off.
Yeah. So I got that, and if you don't know much about that, it's a prequel to Breath of the Wild. Story-wise, not gameplay-wise. Gameplay-wise, it's a...
It's Dynasty Warriors.
yeah. What is it called? Like Muso?
Yeah.
Yeah. Game? Anyway, but the cutscenes are really cool, and I've been playing that. It has co-op, and I definitely recommend playing it local co-op if you can. It's really... It makes the gameplay a lot more fun, I think. But I've been having a really good time with that, and I'm at the point where I'm on chapter 3, like right when chapter 3 starts. I don't know how many chapters are in it, but there's a lot of I've never played one of these games, and there's a lot of like grinding that you can do for materials and experience and weapons. Yeah, Mox.
How much lore is there?
There's a significant amount of lore for
Compared to this game that we played, Touhou Luna Nights, how much lore is there?
compared to the spin-off.
Infinitely more.
Yeah, more.
Yeah.
If you like the story of Breath of the Wild.
Yeah,
It was a good story.
definitely. And then
yeah, this is something to explore.
And then my cousin got me a while ago. He got me Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion. I think it was like a birthday present or something. I played through it on Steam, and I didn't play through it all the way, but I really, really liked it. And then I saw that it came to Game Pass, so I downloaded it on Xbox, and I've been playing that. It's only like 2 hours long, 3 hours to do a full completion run of it. So I'm going to probably beat that today, and I really, really like it. Like I loved it the first time, like after I beat the first dungeon, and I just beat the second one. I absolutely love it. I'm going to keep playing it. Really good music, really good visuals. It's really cute. Like Toby just said in the Twitch chat. Yeah, very cute. Yeah, but we're not here to talk about those games. We're here to talk about Touhou Luna Nights. But before we get started, just as a reminder, this is Video Game Club, where every 2 weeks we discuss a game voted on by our wonderful friends in the Bombchu Discord and discuss that game right here on twitch.tv/BombchuTV. And if you can't catch us live, don't worry, you can find us on YouTube and all major podcast services. Just search Bombchu Video Game Club and you'll find it. And also, if you appreciate what you're hearing, please consider subscribing, rating, commenting, all those good things. Thank you so much for all the comments that we got about people that were like, oh, you should check out this game. And, I recommend this game and you guys might like this. I took some of those into the nominations for what we're going to play next. And definitely keep those coming. And also, any questions you want us to answer, maybe about like an upcoming game or something, definitely, post that too. We'd love to hear from you. I thought it was really cool. Some of the recommendations that we got to were kind of unexpected. The nominations for this episode were Touhou Luna Nights, Minoria, and Unsighted, and Touhou Luna Nights won, so let's jump into that. It is a 2D Metroidvania action-adventure game developed by Team Ladybug. I couldn't find much about Team Ladybug. They're based in Japan. They made a free game that I believe is like officially licensed called Shin Megami Tensei Synchronicity Prologue. It's like a 2D game.
I haven't heard of that one, and I love Shin Megami Tensei.
They made this game called Run Run Lancer, and they made this other game, which I did play a little bit of it, I think. Record of Lodos War, Deedlit and Wonder Labyrinth.
I considered having that as one of the choices for this vote. And
really?
Yeah. What? Just because I know that and this game are both like very, very well praised from this team.
Are they similar games? Like style-wise?
I believe that one's also a 2D Metroidvania.
The game was published by PlaySim. They're based in Japan as well. They've been around since 2011. They've published games such as Amori, The Good Life, which is a really weird game. It's on Game Pass. Definitely check it out if you're interested. Bright Memory Infinite, which I think... Didn't you play some Bright Memory, Austin, before?
No, but it is on my wish list.
Okay.
Somebody in our Discord brought it up at one point.
And and some others. The game was released initially February 25th, 2019 on Windows and came to Xbox and Switch in 2020. It uses So I got some conflicting things when I looked up what engine it used. It uses something called the Magura engine, which is a template of GameMaker, is how people described it. I don't know much about GameMaker Studio, but maybe it's like a layer on top of it. But
I was gonna, if you didn't tell me what game engine was used, I was gonna guess GameMaker.
Yeah,
it feels very much like that type of game.
Yeah, it does. So what was going on in 2019? So hardware, we had the Xbox One SAD edition. The Valve Index came out, Switch Lite, Stadia. I think the Quest came out as well. Software, we had Apex Legends, Luigi's Mansion 3, which is very, very good. Go play it. Borderlands 3, Gears 5, and others. And 3 games that we played for Video Game Club already. Any guesses?
Oh, I didn't do my homework.
Mox, any guesses?
I always guess Axiom Verge, and I'm never right.
Axiom Verge is wrong. One of them is one of the first games, Mox, that you picked that we played. It has a lot of rats in it.
Oh, Plague Tale Innocence?
Yep. One of them is a side quest game, Hideo Kojima.
Oh, Death Stranding.
Yep. And then the other one is Alan Wake Team, crazy sci-fi,
Control.
Lots of red. Yep. Control.
Nice.
Those are all good games.
Yeah, I liked them. Well, Plague Tale's okay.
What those were.
I couldn't find a whole lot on the development of this game, so we're just gonna skip right to. And, oh yeah, I didn't say at the top. This is gonna be a little different format. We're trying to switch up the format a bit because it's a lot of me talking. It's a lot of Mox and Austin just sitting there until the very end, and we want to make it more of a conversation. So hopefully, after I go through this little bit here, the discussion piece will be a bit, I don't know, more. Maybe you'll like it, maybe not. We'll see. We'll go back to the drawing board if you don't. So how did it review? Mostly positive reviews. People really liked the movement and controls, the boss fights, the sprite work, the time manipulation, the graphics. Some things people didn't like was the backtracking. the enemies respawning when you leave and re-enter a room, and that it was a bit too short. It sold, I think when it first came out, sold like 100,000 copies, and they Team Ladybug said in April 2021, so last year, that it sold 250,000 copies across all platforms. So now we're going to get into some discussion pieces. And I broke this up into 6 sections. And we'll just go through each section, talk about it. Definitely, Mox, Austin, give your takes.
Oh, I will.
Oh, please do. And I will throw up the spoilers tag once we get to the story part.
What?
But there isn't much story in this game, so...
There's like a spoiler there. Mox, you haven't found it yet. That's why you don't agree with there being a spoiler tag.
Okay. There is one little spoiler. You're right. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's just talk about the gameplay of this game. So we already mentioned it's an action adventure. It has that map that's similar to like other Metroidvanias. I'm sure you guys have noticed. Like, you press start, you see all the little squares. Like Axiom Verge had that,
yes.
Right? That type of map just gives me great satisfaction.
Really? Why?
It just makes me feel at home. Like I know, I can feel like the structure of the game, and like I don't get overwhelmed with where I have been versus haven't been. It helps me to not get lost. That type of map is just like, ooh, it's great.
It has lots of platforming, some puzzles, with some occasional boss fights. How did you guys feel about the platforming elements, like just navigating around the map?
Just so bad at this game. I don't even know what to say.
Did you struggle with like just movement?
I guess like when you pause, you can't be around water. But
when you pause time,
yes, because like water becomes solid, which makes sense. Whatever. But sometimes you have to like move through water and like do a combination of pausing and unpausing, and then like movement decreases your pausing points. It's just a lot. I died a lot.
Okay. That's all right. What did you think about the platforming, Austin?
I thought it was fine. There were a couple of sections where it started to get pretty tough. Like, there are some enemies that don't care about your time manipulation powers, for example. Like purple, I think, is the color for that.
Yeah.
And the purple flames...
Oh, they're awful.
Drove me bananas. Because as soon as you try to hit them, they disappear. They go somewhere else.
Yeah.
So you have to, like, bait them into getting really close to you before you can... anyways.
What about the jellyfish?
The ones that keep respawning?
Yes.
Those were a little annoying, but I didn't have much trouble with them. The part that I had the most trouble with on platforming was there's a section where you've got some yellow platforms, which is like when you stop time, those things go back in time. They like reverse. And you had to like recreate this bridge.
Oh, yeah.
And
I know what you're talking about.
I redid that part so many times. I may have spent like 30 minutes to an hour just doing that over and over again until I finally nailed it. It drove me nuts.
So something Austin's hinted at and Mox has already hinted at as well is that your character has the ability to stop time and slow time. They can also they have like knives that they throw out. That's like their main attack. Everything uses MP, right? Stop time, slow time doesn't use MP, does it? Or no,
slow and stop don't use MP.
They use a time gauge.
All your attacks use MP.
Yeah, all your attacks use MP, right?
Slow doesn't use anything, and stop uses your time gauge. Yeah,
right. You can have some other powers and abilities that you get. Like one of them is like you could throw a chainsaw, and those use MP as well. Like any attack uses MP. There's a lot of vending machines scattered around the map and like little save stations. And that's how you save and heal.
You
and
say a lot. There's not that many. You said a lot. There's not that many.
I thought there was a fair amount, especially towards the end.
Did you make sure to throw away your cans?
Not at every location. But does something good happen if you do that?
I don't. I know you get an achievement for it. I'm not sure if anything else happens. I've only managed to do it at one. It was towards the very end when I finally figured out how to actually throw away the cans.
How do you do it?
You have to stop time.
Oh,
yeah,
and then
navigate
resume time when you're next to the can.
Yeah, navigate to the can and then resume time. Yeah.
Some of them are hidden, like in the walls too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like some of them don't have a can next to the vending machine. So you have to like find where the can is.
Oh, that's wild. I didn't know that. You can heal and regain magic during battles, and it's a very unique. I think it is. My understanding is that the Touhou like franchise, I believe it's like a lot of bullet hell stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think this mechanic of healing and stuff like this is part of that franchise, I think. I could be wrong, but that was my understanding from reading. Essentially, if you get like near misses without stopping time, you can heal. So if you slow time and you like get a near miss, that also counts. You can also heal. You'll regain health. And if you stop time and you go near enemies, you'll regain MP. Is that
as well as time gauge?
As well as time gauge, right? When you kill enemies, currency's dropped, and it has a passive buff. Like each gem has like a passive buff that it gives you. Like one will help you like regain MP and stuff like that. But then you can also sell them at a store and get more permanent upgrades or some consumables as well. Mox, did you go to the store at all?
I didn't see the point. I really wanted the passive buffs. I needed all the help I could get.
Ooh, that's interesting because we'll talk a little bit later once we get to the story stuff, and we'll throw the spoiler tag on for that piece. But that's really interesting. So you'll see why here in a bit. Also, as you play through, you get XP and you level up. I think when I beat the game, I was level 18. I think 17 or 18.
You were 17.
17,
wow.
Yeah. What level were you, Austin?
I was 19 when I rolled credits the first time.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, that's this game, right? There was some puzzle stuff, but it was more like puzzle platforming. Like there wasn't any like, oh, move this box here to do this or whatever. It was more like, how do I get up?
Yeah, it's a very condensed Metroidvania. There's not really a lot of there's never really a point of where can I go? I'm stuck. I've exhausted all my options, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You do find these things called keys. They just help you unlock certain doors, and they can do like some shortcuts, or they can help you progress further in the game as well. Sometimes it can be kind of annoying when you go a certain way and you find that door and you need to go past it. You're like, oh, I don't have the purple key. I guess I have to go the other way because, there will be a fork, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to visuals. So it's 2D sprite art. Some really pretty sprite art, I think.
I like it too.
Really nice backgrounds. And each area had like a slightly different aesthetic to it. Mox, did you, like anything stick out about the art style to you that you really liked?
I like pixel style, but I like when the pixels are very small and detailed, and that's what this was. I just really, like the little Japanese themed ones and the little kitty cat and the tanuki. I really like those.
Did you have a favorite area, Austin? Like, because they're all just like slightly different. I was just curious.
Yeah, they were all very cool. I guess the one that sticks out most in my mind was the extra level after the main game.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a lot of cool theming there. And the monster designs there are really cool.
Yeah.
But the look of this game is amazing. I love the animation that plays out when you graze projectiles or enemies, like the way all the stuff that comes out to heal you, it just looks really cool. It tickles my brain.
It's really satisfying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I got kind of like Metal Gear, Solid, like, I don't know, aesthetic, like from this, like, how especially in Phantom Pain, which is the one I played the most. You know how like it's like it looks kind of realistic, right? But then like the menu system and like the way like the UI is and all that stuff, like how you know how much ammo you have and when you change guns or when you like do that, the way that like looks and feels, it reminds me a lot
I could see that.
of the UI in this game, which I really like. Phantom Pain, it's a bummer. It was never finished. Okay. What did you guys think of the music? I know, Mox, you didn't get super far, but did you like the music that you heard in the beginning, at least?
Yeah, I like how it's different for each level and kind of themed, but I also like the loop it's either very long or it's so unobtrusive that I don't get annoyed that it's like a loop. I like the music. Like if we're in audio, I really like when like it says graze, you know, when you get the graze bonus or your MP restores, like the little classic, you know, arcade kind of things. I really like those little sound effects. Yeah,
those were really cool. Each boss has their own music too, I think. I'm pretty sure. And the OST was made by the only I could find is they go by Pepposoft, and they work at Team Ladybug. So they did the soundtracks for and the sound design for their other games as well. But yeah, did you have a favorite song or anything, Austin, or did you generally like it all or not like it?
I don't remember which boss it was for, but I was fighting a boss and the music came on and I was like, I know this song. And it was something I had heard in some like meme compilation video some time ago. And so I guess it's more of a significant song, like maybe for in Touhou in general, but just recognizing a song there was like, well, oh, okay. I could not tell you what the song was called or who I was fighting when it came on, but I could try to hum it, but that'll be terrible. Maybe let's just skip that. But yeah, the music was good. It was definitely not obtrusive. I liked the sound effects like you were talking about until I got to the towards the end of the extra stage. And at that point, you're having to graze so much that you're constantly getting your MP bar like completely filled. And it starts to get pretty annoying hearing that over and over and over again, like every half second.
What level were you when you finally beat that extra stuff?
So I was 19 when I rolled credits. I want to say I was 29? No, I don't remember. I had sent a message to you
I thought
guys
you said like 40 something.
I thought you said
it might have been 43.
I was incredulous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to grind for that one.
Wow. But you did it.
I did it.
Yeah.
And it was fun. But like I think I spent maybe half of my time in the game just playing the extra stage.
Goodness.
Oh wow. Yeah. Okay. So if you're looking for more, definitely play through the extra stage.
Yeah, confirmed. I was 43.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot more. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about, we kind of touched a little bit on this, but as far as the controls go and the interface just in general, I thought, like I mentioned before, it felt very like futuristic, and I really like the style that they were going with. I don't know if you guys played it. I think everyone here played it with controller, but for I played on Xbox, and the default button for jump was the right button, which is B on the Xbox. Usually jump is A, right? You can change it. All the controls, it looks like you can change in the menu. I didn't bother because I always try, and this is just a me thing. I'm curious what you guys do in this situation. I usually try to do whatever the default control scheme is because I feel like they did that for a reason. So I will try it, and I will try to force my brain to do that. And if I can't get past it, then I will change it. But there's very little games where I change the default control scheme. How did you guys feel about controls and Mox? I know you were playing on Switch, right?
Yes, and jump was A for the Switch, which because it uses the Japanese,
which is the right.
Yes,
button.
It's the control scheme that Japan uses. Like so, if you use the PlayStation for Japanese games, circle, which is
circle
right, is confirmed. Yeah. So I'm more used to that. It's hard to switch between PlayStation and Switch if you're playing like RPGs where you need to know yes and no, and those buttons become inverted between the different things. But it felt natural on A. Like, you guys, I mean, I'm just so bad at this game. Like I tried so hard, and it's like I didn't beat this game, not because I didn't want to. I can't. I'm gonna keep trying. But
listen, it was the same way for me on Inscription. Okay. Like, I was just, it was too hard for me. I still liked that game a lot. It sounds like you liked a lot about this as well, but it's okay for games to be too hard.
I keep hitting my microphone. I'm so sad. It's like, I don't know. I'm just so bad at it. I like the controls are not bad. They're good. They're intuitive. I don't find myself like wishing I pressed a different button, but pressing the other one because of some reason. I just am so bad at this game.
Austin, you played on Steam Deck or on PC?
I played on. I did the first hour on my PC to record, and then all the rest of it I did on Steam Deck.
Mm-hmm. And controls everything good and the way it moved.
Controls were awesome. Everything worked really well. My only beef with the interface was I wish that when you pause, that you could like interact with that a little bit more. There's lots of stuff on the screen, like there's the map, there's your stats,
the jewels,
and there's like the grid of the things that you've picked up.
Right.
That's really tiny, and it's like, oh, I want to go like look at that bigger or in more detail or something like that. It was just like, nope, this is your menu, and that's it. You can look at this, you can resume the game, you can exit the game.
Did you get like a really, like, what was your map completion? Do you remember? Did you
95%?
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm watching your gameplay a little bit right now while we're talking, and like I'm seeing stuff where like, oh, there was a box there, I should go back. Like, because you get, you unlock powers, and if you could backtrack, maybe you get like more health or more,
or if you
different little abilities.
And they definitely have stuff like that there, but I did like that you really didn't need. So when you said people complained about the backtracking, I was kind of surprised because I don't remember ever really needing to backtrack for anything. Like there was one or two times that I did it just for. I was like, oh, I remember there was something there. Let me go see what it was.
Well, if you want to,
but I don't remember needing to.
Well, if you want to go to the store, which you don't necessarily need to, but there is a lot of backtracking to do that. You have to find a portal, go back. You can buy a shop ticket. Also, they give you a shop ticket after boss fights sometimes. It's a little fun fact if you do end up playing this. But yeah,
the shop ticket brings the shop to you wherever you are.
Correct. Yeah. Okay, let's talk a little bit about performance. So like I mentioned, I played it on Xbox. It was one of the games where you bought it on Xbox, you get it on PC as well. And when I played it on PC, for some reason, it would only go to 45 frames.
What?
And it's weird. And I have no idea why. And I couldn't do anything to fix it. I tried restarting it. I looked at the settings, nothing. I have no idea why it was running at 45 frames. I didn't Google it because I was just like, well, whatever. I'll just play it on Xbox, majority of it. Overall, though, I didn't run into any issues or anything. Did you guys run into any bugs or any like weird slowdowns or anything? Mox, I'm really curious about you because you played on Switch. Did you run into any issues or anything, or did it run really well?
No, I played it on my OLED Switch and it's beautiful. It looks great. I didn't have any issues. It's super smooth.
Nice. That's good. Austin, what about you? I'm sure PC was fine for you.
Oh Steam version? Everything worked very well. The only, I don't even know if I should call it a bug because maybe it was intended behavior. There was one weird moment. I think I had frozen time and I got knocked back by something, but basically when I got knocked back, like I got trapped between a wall and maybe it was like frozen water or something like that. I was stuck in place and I could not get out of my knockback animation until the time freeze ended, and I just had to wait for it to count down slowly. That happened once, and other than that, no, I didn't have any issues.
That's nice. So it's seems like everyone had a really good experience as far as performance goes. Yeah. That's great. All right, now let's talk about the story. I'm gonna throw on the spoiler tag. This game has so we kind of mentioned already, it's a spin-off of like a really popular bullet hell franchise. I'm not that familiar. I'm sure there's a ton of really passionate people about this franchise. I'm not one of them.
If you look at the top reviews on Steam, all of them are like, well, I still don't know what Touhou is.
Okay. Well, okay. I don't feel as bad then. But you play as this character named Sakuya. She's this maid of this like mansion, and you're basically like sent to this weird like universe where it's almost like I think you're trapped there, and you have to play through, and you think you're playing through it for this one character. Her name's Romelia. For her amusement, there's another person that you run into. There's this person named Notori. She owns the store. There's a younger sister of Romelia named Flandre. There's just a bunch of Anyway, each boss. I did read this though. I did read that your character that you play as, she is like a boss in one of the bullet hell games, and she does have like a time stopping or time slowing mechanic in that. So they like took her from that and like expanded on that, I guess, for this. Did you guys? I don't know. What did you think of the story? I know Mox, you didn't finish it, but Austin, what did you think?
So every time that I met a new character, I was like, well, there's that person, I guess.
Yeah.
A lot of them were like, hey, why don't you have your time powers? Maybe you should use those. Oh, you do have them? Wow, nice. Okay, see ya. So it didn't feel like I needed to know anything about Touhou to play this. It was like a very surface level story. I'll wait until we get to kind of the little twist.
Go ahead,
because I did like
Go
that.
ahead. Go for it.
Do it.
Sure. Okay. So
you play through
when you go for it.
We should first say make sure you start with the beginning of the twist, right?
Sure.
Okay, go ahead.
So as like pretty early on in the game, you get I think you get saved, right, by the store owner. She has a mech, and she comes and like blasts some enemies away. She's like, hey, I've got a store. If you want, you can sell me your jewels and I'll give you money. You can use the money to buy stuff in my store.
Please spend money.
And so, yeah, it's every once in a while, if you haven't gone back in a while, she'll come and be like, hey, you haven't really been coming to my store. You should come to my store. Here's a ticket. I can come to you. Make sure you sell those gems. I love gems. Please give me your gems.
One thing
I want money.
One thing too is to remember that when you're first playing, everyone tells you that you need to beat Romelia, that she's the boss that you're after. Remember?
Yeah, that she's like created this game world,
and you're going to track her down and destroy her. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So halfway through the game, she reveals to you, hey, by the way, these jewels have passive bonuses that are helpful to you. Still, you should sell them to me.
Yeah, your character's even like, oh, should I just hold on to them then? And she's like, no. What?
Like, no. They're not that big of bonuses. Just, you should sell them to me. You'll get way more use out of it. And like all the items in the store are kind of terrible.
I mean, additional knives.
Name a good item in the store.
For them.
The increase of the time mechanic.
When do you ever need more time?
I don't know. Maybe you don't, but I don't know.
And you can find them out in the world.
That's also true.
You can find them out in the world, and even if you don't, like, the fact that enemies will give you more time if you pass next to them, like, you'll never need more time. And then the extra knives only let you throw more knives during the time stop, which is not that helpful anyways. So anyway, there was nothing good there that I wanted. Basically, I sold her my first set of gems and then checked what she had, and I was like, well, I probably should have just kept those gems. Oh well. But after you beat Romelia, who's supposed to be the boss of the world,
they give you a fake out scene where they're like, oh, we're going back to reality, fade to white. Just kidding.
And it turns out that the shop owner was running the show the whole time, and she's been using you to get gems because they make her more powerful. So during that boss fight, so Mox, actually, if you had made it there, you would have gotten a special message. Because if you don't sell the shop any gems, she's just like, you didn't give me any gems. What the hell? And she's still like, well, I'm still going to kick your butt. But
is she easier
the only
if you don't sell any?
So the only difference that I was able to find online, because people were kind of theorizing, like, how powerful did the gems make her? What's the difference between if you sold a little versus a lot? My understanding is that they make, so she's got kind of like jewel daggers on her wings, and supposedly if you sell her more, they get bigger and bigger. And she at some point does a move where she will like clap them together, down towards the ground like scissors. And for me, they were so small that I could just stand in between them and not get hurt. But somebody online who had sold a ton of them, they couldn't avoid their hitboxes because they were so big.
I was able to, in my playthrough, I sold a little bit. I think I bought 2 items, 1 time gauge increase, 1 knife increase. And I was able to just sit in the middle, and it was very close that they were going to hit me, but they didn't. That boss...
Yeah, I had sold just at the very start, and they were not close to me at all. They were just a little tiny.
That boss also has 2 phases, and if you die during the end of the last phase, you have to redo both phases, and I did, and it was frustrating. But I beat it second try, so it wasn't that bad. But I did like that boss a lot. I thought it was really fun to play against and like to figure out like what do you need to do and how to dodge this and how to dodge that. And you had to use all your stuff like slow, stop, etc.
Did you have 1,000 daggers at that point?
I did, but I didn't use it. I really like the chainsaw for some reason. I use chainsaw a lot. Like I would throw the chainsaw in her face constantly. After you defeat Notori, then you get access to the white door, right? And there's some story stuff in there.
Yeah, and also Notori wasn't Notori. She was actually somebody else.
Oh my goodness.
In disguise.
Yeah.
She wasn't the real Notori.
Flandre or whatever.
Yeah.
So then you beat Flandre, and then the real Notori comes to you and tells you like, oh, you need to go to this white door. I think that's what happens. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. You go to this alternative.
You roll credits, and at the end it goes, the white gate has opened.
Yeah, then you go to the white gate. And there was some more story stuff there, but I didn't do it. Did you do it? I guess you did, Austin. But do you remember it being significant in any way, shape, or form?
So I did it. I think it was added after the game was already out. So I think that was like a post-launch extra content kind of thing. But I could be wrong.
I believe there's also like a boss rush too.
There is. I think I unlocked that after I finished the extra area, but maybe that was. I thought it was after I unlocked the extra area, or after I beat the extra area. Sorry. Yeah, that is it's a cool level. It's big and it's very difficult.
Is it?
There's a couple of bosses.
Is it all the same aesthetic like through the whole thing? That like Diamond Cave thing.
No.
Okay.
It's not just Diamond Cave.
Okay.
There's a couple of new powers that you get. One of them is it's basically the same as getting one of the keys. Because there's like these flame things that block your path, and if you get a power that's just you can pass through fire. So it's like getting a key. I guess it's a little bit more imaginative. And then you also get a dash, where if you double tap in a direction, you can move fast. You can run.
That's amazingly helpful.
Why wouldn't they put that in the regular map early on when I need to get around?
Yeah.
So I was surprised by that. But yeah, it was very tough. The boss, the final boss of the area, has 2 forms, and yeah, just like you said, if you die in the second form, you go back to the start.
Yeah.
And she is very tough. I had to really learn how to abuse my time freeze as well as my time slow, and that's where I really started to use 1,000 daggers a lot. And when you're using that, you're invincible. So if she's blasting you with projectiles, then you're still getting to graze those, which is nice. Yeah, that
I'll tell you,
I grinded a lot to fight her, but now that I've beaten her and now I know like how to do it, I think I could have done it at a lower level.
Okay, that's nice. One thing that happened to me was after the first boss, if you don't go back and save and you have low health, these like weird mandrakes come out of the ground and just destroy you. And I got wrecked and I had to replay the first boss. But it was pretty easy.
After we get out of spoilers, I'm going to make a public recommendation. Once you beat bosses, go back a room and save.
Yeah. All right. Mox, anything you want to share about the story? I know you didn't get too far, but
there's nothing. It's not a story.
All right, fair enough. All right, spoilers tags coming off. Let's give our personal takes. Now, knowing all that information, overall, Austin, what did you think?
I really liked this game. It was a little too short. Like, I think there were certain things that could have been expanded upon. At the same time, I really appreciate that it's kind of a condensed form. Like, there's no fluff to this game at all. I wish that there was something other than keys as rewards, because your reward for beating a boss being like, well, now you can access the next area is, it's not a great reward. Like, if it had been something like that affected my movement or buffed me up a little bit, I think that would have been cool.
Got experience.
Yeah, that's true. Usually I would get a level up from killing a boss, but I liked some of the little twists. The graze system is really cool, especially in combination with the time slow mechanic. Platforming and everything just felt really good. And yeah, it was just a fun little romp. I would have liked it to have been longer. I would have liked a few more movement abilities. I would give it an 8 out of 10. Like a very solid 8.
Nice.
Now, also, if you are playing this and you're having a hard time, whenever you beat a boss, go back one room. There's a save point.
Yes.
Always save. I always go back a room and save after you beat a boss.
Just in case.
Because you usually won't find another save point again for a few rooms after that.
Yeah. Mox, I know you didn't fully beat it, but your experience, just as in a nutshell.
I want to amend the word you use, which is I haven't yet.
Oh, haven't yet finished. Sorry. Sorry.
It's so hard. It's a game. I don't know. It's just such a hard game. I just wish they had like a easy mode or something. Like I like games that are like, yeah, we want you to finish this game. Like you had been talking about the previous before the stream about your
Turnip Boy commits tax evasion.
Yes. Yeah. I just wish that, I don't know, if you're not coordinated, they could give you a gimme. But I'm trucking through it. It's just like, it's one of those games that when you die after a lot of progress and you haven't hit a save point, and you need the save points to be in certain areas because you're trying to move through rooms. Like it's not so much about progression because there's not that much other than getting, the one item, but then there's, a save point right there usually. Like I get through like 3 rooms and then I die and I'm like, I have to go through them again. I don't know. I don't fault the game. It's me. I just wish that it was more forgiving for people who are bad at games. And so I will not rate it. I will refrain because I have not finished it, but I do intend to continue to try. And so maybe in like a year it'll be done and I can rate it then.
Looking forward to it. I really liked this game too. I thought the combat was really fun. The game looked and sounded great. I liked the time manipulation. The bosses were really it was really let's see. It was just really rewarding to figure out their pattern and what you needed to do to beat them. And it's crazy how just by understanding their mechanics, they become a breeze. Like you're like, oh, it's so easy now. Like now, I feel like if I would replay this game, it would be so much easier. But yeah, it was a really, really good time. I had that weird performance issue on PC. But besides that, everything was great. Like I mentioned, I'm not big Metroidvania person. Like I like Metroid Dread. I thought that was really cool. I like Super Metroid, Axiom Verge, but like I don't seek them out or anything. So it's not like
I think you are a Metroidvania person.
I was going to say,
you just have probably played some.
What?
I think you've just played some bad
Oh
ones.
my gosh, I don't know.
Because every Metroidvania that we play, you're like, yeah, this is really good.
Yeah,
but I'm not a Metroidvania.
But well, anyway, for me, I think I would give this like an 8. It was a great game. I really liked it. I wish it was a bit longer. One thing that I didn't like, which I know is expected in games like this, is that sometimes I would go through a door and then someone would hit me and I'd be pushed back.
Right.
And then I would
everything respawned.
Yeah, and I would get really frustrated at that. But that's really about it. I didn't feel the need to go through the white gate, and also I agree with you, Austin. The menu, like, I wanted more from the pause menu to understand more, like, what are these items that I have and what do they do again, and stuff like that. Like, for example, I had to reach out to Austin because the jewels, I was like, hey, how do you get the upgrades that they talked about? And Austin was like, oh, it's passive. I was like, it is? And so I must have missed that little piece of text, but there was no other way to find that out, stuff like that. So yeah, 8 out of 10. Any last words? No?
No.
Okay.
No, I think we had it.
Okay.
I think we had a good time.
Oh, and you do not need to be familiar with the Touhou franchise to play this, right? That's something we should say.
Not at all.
There's nothing.
Don't worry. I still don't know anything, really, and I probably never will, so don't worry. All right, that was a little dive in our take on Touhou Luna Nights. If you enjoyed hearing us discuss Touhou Luna Nights and want to join us for the next Video Game Club episode, stay put, because the vote just ended. It was a very tight vote. It was between Psychonauts, which was a recommendation from someone, Tunic, which is something that I really want to play, and Jet Set Radio, which was another fan suggestion. And it is tied, and we've had ties before. And what happens during a tie is that the person who nominated or who like put the games together, they get to pick, and that was me. So everyone can be really mad at me, but I'm going to pick Psychonauts because I've been really wanting to play it. Woo. I also want to play Jet Set Radio at some point, but I'm just really leaning towards... I'm in a Psychonauts mood, I think, with the second one coming out recently and stuff like that. So the next Game Club game will be Psychonauts. Tell your friends. Tell your mom. Tell your dad. Tell everybody.
Tell your dog.
Tell your dog. Tell your guinea pig. Tell everybody. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, though. And again, just as a reminder, you can catch us here on twitch.tv/BombchuTV every 2 weeks at 2 Eastern, with the next stream being on May 8th.
Oh, my goodness.
I know. We're already in May.
Can't believe it. The second week of May.
Yeah. And if you can't make the live session again, don't worry. It'll be up on YouTube and all podcast services, thanks to the magic of editing. Austin, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. And Mox, I know you struggled, but I still want to thank you for coming on. I know you just moved and did a bunch of life stuff too, so thank you so much for taking the time, setting up your computer, everything, to join us for this as well.
Thanks for letting me come, even though I could only get through 2 stages.
That's all right.
Thanks for giving it a fair shot. As soon as I got a bit into the game, I was like, oh no, I hope Mox is going to be okay with this. So I'm glad that you liked what you played.
I like it.
Really
I'm going to keep trucking.
Maybe you'll like fall in love with Psychonauts too, and I don't know. That might be a really good like palate cleanser, and then you'll come back to this and be like, oh yeah.
I'm hopeful.
Yeah. And a special thank you, of course, to Andron, always helping out behind the scenes, making this possible, making us sound good, look good, all those things, doing the Lord's work. I'm Tyler. This was Video Game Club, episode 47, Touhou Luna Nights, and we're out.